Oh my god. All right, today I made a huge fail. Oh my god. I just realized I was literally just talking and explaining myself for the last 20 minutes, but I forgot to click the button to start the stream. Literally. Oh boy. I mean, I didn't took anything yet, but I was literally gonna be taking that one. Oh well. My bad. Let's hope it won't shake me out of my gear. But yeah, I was really not paying attention to that, and I literally started as usual, but I forgot to click the button to start the stream. Oh my god. Mistakes are being made. All right. Unless this bullish fair value gap here would be or could be like a last chance to engage with that idea. Stop loss below this low or at this low, one tick below it, using the 1002 fair value gap and aiming best case for the buy sell liquidity hold high. All right, so I think that's the idea for now. So yeah, I click the buy button, I suppose, and I hope for the best. Partial profit here, full target there. Let's see how it goes. Hello Ash, welcome. Yeah, today I made a little bit of a fail. I literally started the stream as usual. I was just talking and stuff, but I forgot to actually click the go live button on YouTube, and I didn't go live actually. So yeah, I missed the first 20 minutes of it, but nonetheless, let's see if I can get this entry here. I can. So right away I want to use sell 4 units. So that will be my partial here. If I can get that, that will be my partial. Stop loss is below this fair value gap. Candle 1. Yeah, final target. Let's make this a little bit wider here. Or actually, let's completely cancel that order. Let's cancel that and let's place a manual manual order there. All right, something like this. Something like this is the idea. Bullish fair value gap. Partial. Final target, the drawn liquidity up there. All right, and now let's see how it goes. Now let's see how it does, whether we can squeeze anything out of it. Actually, it's returning also back to that lower one here. That's fair, I guess, or I suppose that's like acceptable or reasonable. Mm, I would say this fair value gap can get closed. That's not that big of a deal. Obviously, preferably it would stay open, but closing this one is uh, fair enough, I would say. I just don't want to close this one or even come back to it at this moment, as we already did. Made a touch, displacement higher. So, yep. All right. I mean, I hope I'm not throwing myself with this one because, yeah, I'm a little bit dizzy to the fact of that I forgot to actually click the live button to start the stream at the time that I actually started commenting and stuff, as I always do. And I was explaining stuff and shit, and like midway I just noticed that, well, this is not actually going live. And yeah, but yeah, it is what it is. Let's trade our way off this position here. Let me remove the execution label so I can so I can have a cleaner view about what it's doing currently. So it's returning back to the 955 fair value gap, and that's fine. That's something that I would allow for. I need to allow for. And the last line of defense is like the consecutive encroachment of this week, but I don't want to test that. All right, preferably it shouldn't go there. So right now we close outside of this fair value gap here. We trade to the lower one, and we are losing ground quite quickly near term. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm somewhat comfortable as far as consecutive encroachment of this week. And yeah, going besides that, I don't really want to see that. Hopefully, we'll see the price come back and slide back inside of this inefficiency and this fair value gap here. And that will be constructive for going higher. And that's what I want to see. Nice displacement there right away. So now we close below it, right? So it should act as a bearish inversion fair value gap in theory, right? If it's bearish, it will do that. But my anticipation is we have a higher draw on liquidity up here. So I'm thinking, don't use this as bearish inversion, but use it as bullish reclaim fair value gap to send it higher. That's the idea behind it. If I'm correct on the draw, that's what's going to be probably in the cards, but that's still a little bit unknown. So. All right, so I'm not changing the color to the inversion in here just now, because I still want to see this perform as a potential bullish fair value gap. So let's see if that will be the case or not. Admittedly, as I'm looking at it, I'm a little bit concerned about the liquidity below this low, because this looks like a return to those equal highs. And anyone who went with this idea of resistance, broken support, and longed there might get attacked. But let's see. All right, so I'm generally allowing for coloring a little bit outside of the lines. I don't mind that too much, as long as we are not going to completely displace lower. That's acceptable at this moment, I would say. But I want to see price quickly snap back inside of these inefficiencies and above them, and start gravitating towards this short-term high and more towards the draw that I think is going to be the main play for now. So at least that's like the idea behind it. And now we'll see, right? Like, I mean, the market will tell whether it had any sense behind it, or it was just wrong. Whatever happens, I'll be content with that, and we'll just see. So far, price is somewhat trying to use this as a bearish inversion for value gap, which I don't want to see that happening. I just don't want to see that happening. I want to see price climb quickly above it, use it as a bullish array again, and send us towards the actual draw up here. Because yeah, otherwise, if you start seeing premium sensitivity here and start moving lower, then this position becomes problematic. Then it becomes problematic. But I trust that until around 10:30, 10:45, 11 o'clock, we still have potential room and time for expansion and drawing towards the price liquidity up there. At least, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Whether it will deliver, that's behind my knowledge at this moment. So far, any return back into this inversion failed to offer any significant continuation lower, which is potentially a good sign. If that can hold, we see a measure of displacement here right now. So let's see. I preferably want to see this being capped and quickly snap back inside of this, and preferably above it. Then I'm more confident about the whole idea. I like how this was a bold down candle here, but right before the close, it came back all the way up and closed even above the low of this value gap. That's not that bearish, right? That's potentially bullish, and that's in line with the idea that I have, which makes me more inclined to trust that it will still potentially deliver. Let's see if that will be the case, but at least that's something that I can view as potentially positive little signature for my idea. All right, so the next candle opened, tried to trade to consecutive encroachment of this week, failed to close below it, and now trying to go back into this fair gap. So a lot of price action in here, a lot of business happening. So there is a real fight occurring, and let's see who comes on top eventually. Preferably it will start displacing higher soon. Then I should be like comfortable with this idea. Otherwise, the longer it takes like this, might be still tricky. But let's see if I can trade my way out of this. This looks like a sweet little bear flag in here, not gonna lie. Sweet little bear flag. While I'm having a drawn liquidity higher, that's a lovely one to potentially fail and send it higher, right? But. All right, so another positive is that if it were like very heavy, very bearish here, it would already react off of that inversion and send us lower, right? Technically, because it fails to do so for a prolonged period of time, I'm thinking that it's not necessarily as bearish, that it's holding its posture to some degree, and it maybe will continue through. We see that attempt right now, so let's watch. We came back to break even point. We came back to the high of this bullish fair value gap. That's how I view it. And as we do that, I want to see a close above it. I really want to see a close above it. And the next near-term objective would be this high, right? The easiest one to reach for. Because anyone who was trying to sell short here has their order above this high. Why? Because this is the only swing high on this time frame. So that's where a lot of buy sell liquidity will rest. Because anyone who was trying to go short for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes around, their orders are resting above this high. Why this high? Because there is no other one to choose from. So it must be above this one, at least. At least in theory, right? So there will be a lot of buy sell liquidity here to just hunt, use it, attack that. Especially if the higher, especially if the draw is higher, it's here, right? So that's like an easy pick. And so engineer that a little bit fear, engineer that bear flag, trick people to sell short at this potential bearish inversion, right? But the idea is potentially still to go higher. Then that will be just an easy fleece on anyone who went short or tried to go short for whatever reason, right? Nasdaq already smashed through that high. Nasdaq clearly outperforming on the upside, but Nasdaq already reached the draw that I was looking for. Therefore, I'm using ES as it has the draw still open. So let's see. ES has to match this high. And as we went above this 1002 bullish fair value gap, after all of these mohawks, I don't want to give this inefficiency away. I don't want to give this away. We went up, down, spent a lot of time, left to the upside. It's technically a balanced price range, which means we shouldn't really go below it. If we do, that will be problematic. That will be something that I don't want to see. If we want continuously to see higher prices, right? So that's one thing to watch. If we will be breaching that on a closing basis, that will be a red flag for this trade idea at this moment. So let's see, let's watch. Small little bullish fair value gap right there at 1022, and a return back to this inefficiency is completely fine. It's permissible. Just yeah, closing below it is not what I want to see, right? So I want to see sensitivity at this moment. I want to see sensitivity, and I want to see a rejection to the upside, because lots of buy side is resting here, and we have potentially still a higher draw on liquidity based on the daily chart. So that's how it looks like. Let's see. It's 10:26. We are expanding for about an hour. So like 30 more minutes of expansion seems reasonable, seems doable, especially as the draw is still open. We have definitely plethora of time to try to reach higher. And that's what I'm trying to get on. So let's see. Let's see if we can get a banger here. A banger of a session. Nonetheless, this is my first partial at 50% between this fair value gap to this draw. That's what I'll be looking to unload a portion and then secure my stop loss to better than even. And at that point, I will be just looking or fishing for the actual draw on liquidity. So let's see. We formed a little bit of relative equal highs in here that we are going to poke just now. So a really important thing displays through that. I want to see a measure of displacement through that, and that would be very, very, very solid and constructive in regards to that higher daily draw. So let's see if we can get that. A lot of buy set up there. That's why it might want to seek higher prices still. A lot of unfinished business up there. All right, so we traded above that. We closed above it. We closed above this high. That's good. That's potentially bullish order flow still. This touch to this reclaimed bullish fair value gap. That's good. That's good. That's constructive. So let's see if we can see a follow through that little buy set here. I don't necessarily want to see a strong rejection here or any rejection at all, really. But let's see what we can get out of it here. Let's see. Yeah, 15-minute chart, hourly chart, all of these can or still have quite some room for expansion if it's still in play. We have plethora of time for that too. So that makes me still think and or consider that it should or could, definitely could, offer a measure of continuation higher near term. At least an attempt to reach up into there would be very, very welcome. Even if it fails to reach the actual draw, if it can reach this 50% there, that's a great great measure of a price run nonetheless. So let's see. We are approaching the 10:30, so the first hour of trading is basically being captured within this. That was expansion higher, pretty much. So let's see. Nice little follow through higher here. I like that. I like that. Approaching my first partial. That's good. Very good. And then I will be trailing. All right, almost the first partial there. Fall short a little bit. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a poke. We are still in this expansion mode here, nonetheless. So it should have rather no problems or no issues to do that. Still technically bullish, everything bullish. So there we go. That's the first partial, and that's where I will or I need, because I cannot modify this order for whatever reason. Yep, I need to cancel that one. Sell stop, and I need to adjust a manual sell stop here. Exactly. So position, cover the first partial. Position is secured at better than even, whatever happens, and I have still a free look at the actual drawn liquidity up there to watch and see whether I can get there. Yep. So that's a pretty good spot to be in already. I technically can't lose at this moment, so very good spot. So I will move this sell limit a little bit off the way, just in case it would like to make some wicked run or aggressive run for the buy side, and maybe allow me to capture a little bit more than that. I mean, in terms of like a runner, let's see. I will, or I might be taking some or the position off earlier, but I just want to see how it goes initially here near term, because we formed another busy at 10:30, and if this busy could stay open and if we wouldn't come back to close that in, that would be indicative in a very strong price action near term, which could lead to a measure of deeper run above that old high. Because technically we don't only want to trade to it, but also through it. Obviously targeting below it is the easiest low hanging fruit objective in that regard. But I'm at this stage where I can potentially pass the phase 1 of the challenge, and I want to kind of like finesse. The amount that I need instead of like leaving a little bit on table for the next day. So let's see if I can get away with that. I literally need $150 more from here, so $400. $400 of this position needs to be secured, at least, right? $400. If I can get that, that will allow me to pass the phase 1 of this challenge, which will be the first evil also, and that will be a step towards the next goals. So let's see if I can squeeze that, if I can get that off. Obviously that will be like the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I'll be stopped out break even, and I will still be making some profit net, which is obviously a beautiful spot to be in. But yeah, if I could squeeze a little bit more of this run, then I'm here for it. I believe there is still a little bit more time that we could potentially poke that old high, because yeah, we are very close to it, and we still have like 25 minutes until 11 a.m., which yeah, that's a good time still to see it run. That's for sure. And yep. So how much in terms of a range out actually need to secure? Thinking that I have 4 micros. 1 micro is $5 per contract, so 4 is 20. So I need, if I want to 400, I need 20 handles. So here 20 handles is from not this level, my bad. 20 handles from here. Okay, this looks way more apt to be doable, because it's at, or actually a little below the actual draw. So let's go with like 20 and a half to secure it for sure. Let's go 21 and confirm. So if I can get the actual draw, I will pass the phase 1. If it stops me out earlier, then I'll be fighting still. Yeah, whatever happens, and I'm ready for any outcome. I can add this as a win. 14 wins, 16 losses, because I will not be able to lose on this one. But yet the question is whether we can see that a little bit more of a follow through. We are trading back to this 1030 fair value gap, and we are trading basically below it, which isn't necessarily the best case scenario that I was having in my mind. But yeah, I mean, at this moment, if it turns around, I would say it's pretty fair enough as a deal. If it goes, then that's excellent. But yeah, that's like a reasonable position. So yeah, I guess now just relax and just watch and see. Let's watch and see what happens. If it stops me out, that's okay. If it doesn't, that's even better. And yeah, we still have a little bit of room, a little bit of range in both time and price to, you know, fulfill the entire range for this morning session, to fill the numbers basically. So that makes me still believe that it might deliver, and I trust that. But yeah, it might take some time. It might stop me out before that, obviously. And if that's the case, then I'll be done and I'll be back tomorrow. But yeah. All right. So that doesn't necessarily look very, very positive right now. I could definitely get stopped out, but that's like a wild card, right? I might also not. So let's see. But this could get me. This could get me out, and if it does, that's all right. That's fine. I can cope with that. All right, so it got me out nonetheless on the stop, and that was break-even stop out basically. Cancel that order, and that's basically it. That's basically what transposed today. A little bit of like a 10 handle run here. Couldn't get a follow through. That's fine. I suppose that's reasonable with this price action in here. Can it go still up here? I will be looking for that. It might maybe transpose later today. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then even that will be cool. because I got out ahead of any losses. So 242 for the day added to the account. Current balance 52 647.75. So roughly 350 bucks left to be made, and I'll be finally done with the phase one potentially, if I can make that in the next trade. If not, then I will be still fighting. Well. All right. I mean, curious to see whether it just stopped me on the low here and turns around and goes for the buy side. That would be something in the cards, I would say, especially if you can clearly get back above this 1030 per value gap. That would be definitely in play. So yeah, maybe then a little bit too tight of a break even than it necessarily needed to be, but yeah, whatever. I guess I did well regardless. All right, so I think that's going to be it for now, for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more silverboard action, nonetheless, and we'll see what we get. So thanks for watching. By the way, 0 people watching right now. Thanks for that, nonetheless, and see you guys next time. Bye.